The tone shifts entirely with Dune Messiah. Paul is no longer a boy becoming a leader, he is already the Emperor, and Herbert writes him as weary, disillusioned, and almost alien. Gone is the overwhelming sense of discovery, as Paul now knows too much, and Herbert emphasizes the burden of his prescience. Instead of triumph, his inner voice is filled with resignation and dread. I think that Denny will present every scene with Paul as one that carries the weight of inevitability. He knows what's coming, and even in moments of affection, like with Chani, or the sharpness with his enemies, there's likely to be a fatalistic undercurrent. Unlike in the first films, where Paul is still humanized by his struggle, in Part 3 he will feel much more detached. In the original Dune book and the films, he's often active in physical trials through fights, desert survival, and daring escapades. In Part 3, I think he'll feel a lot more static, surrounded by core advisors and conspirators. His struggles are mostly internal or symbolic, whether it's losing his eyesight, enduring assassination attempts, or weighing possible futures. So the Paul of the first book and films embodies agency, whereas the Paul of Part 3 can embody entrapment. This mirrors Herbert's larger idea for Dune, and one that Villeneuve has emphasized he is fully focused on. Herbert intended Paul not as a hero, but as a cautionary anti-messiah, showing how a messianic figure who seems triumphant in one story can become tragic in the next, once power and prophecy strip away freedom. Dune presents Paul as a human becoming more than human, while Dune Messiah presents him as a more than human figure trying desperately to remain human. So for me, that is the big aspect that Villeneuve will centre his film around, and Paul's actions and the way he is presented will be to communicate that very idea. As touched on previously, where Part 2 often showed Paul in grand sweeping action and locations, Part 3 is likely to bring him into an interior, more emotionally and morally fraught space. He'll be haunted by the consequences of the Holy War, isolated by the weight of power, emotionally fractured by Chani's absence at the start, and yet fighting to secure a future through his children. His power will still radiate through his prescience and reputation, but his posture toward it will be far more introspective and tragic. Part of this approach can only be elevated by the way Villeneuve depicts the film and the way Timothy brings this version of Paul to life. I've said in other videos that I think Dune Part 3 is going to be more focused on the emotion and drama of the story than the first two ever were. And this may be a big challenge for the audience, especially with a majority of the book taking place in just one location at Arrakeen City, with Paul and a few other characters. It's not a sweeping epic like, say, the first two films were allowed to be, because it captures its weight more introspectively. Paul is a reflection of that tonal shift, and I do think that Denny will stay true to that.